watching Suddenly Ducks. I'm Bermuda.
And I'm Phil.
And today we're playing Shadowrun. We're starting a brand new mission, and Warren will give us the details of that. Or what's happened since we left off.
Okay, since you guys left off and you finished the shells run for Thaddeus, it's been about 3 weeks. You guys decided to swap comm links and stay in touch because the run turned out pretty well for most of you. There were a few disagreements between all of you, but the money was better than most of the money any of you have ever earned in your lives, just through slumming it or whatever else you can gather. So you were able to make rent, you were able to buy whatever you needed, and you survived another month in the shadows. So the 3 weeks went by. You were all searching for various, jobs, trying to get anyone in contact. But as we all know, you're not like the greatest or most well-known runners, to say the least. So in the end, Tex himself finally managed to come up with a job through his fixer, Vincent, and basically somewhere in the region of 6 p.m. on a Wednesday, Tex receives a comlink email from his fixer detailing a run. So if you want to read it out, Aaron, you can read it out, or I can read it out. It's up to you. I don't mind.
Yeah, I can read it.
Okay, go for it.
So you guys all get a message from Tex, basically forwarding a message from his fixer, Vincent, which says, "Okay, listen up, man. I think I found something up your alley when it comes to work. Came with a little bit of nice finder's fee for me, and I promise this guy you're legit, so don't make me all mouth and no substance, Ome. A frontman has been looking around in some of the more colorful areas of town, looking for some people willing to run some work outside of Seattle. Seems easy enough, but you've probably heard how these long-haul runs are. Things can get messy real quick on the move. So as far as I can tell, it's going to be fairly simple collect and delivery run. Not much to it from what the guy could front to me. You're going to be heading into council land, though. Don't know the specifics too well. He wouldn't mention. Though I don't have to tell you to be careful around the natives. They have simmered down in recent years, but their law has a constant stick up their asses about Anglos, so watch yourself. This is where it gets interesting, though. The cutter wouldn't mention who he was speaking for, but I got the gist of it, that he was, from the way that he talked, fervent, you might say. Guy was clean cut for a hitter, and wore too many distinguishing marks. Wasn't outright easy to see, but he stank of religion. Seems right. Seems like I was right. He gave a meet location in Old Church, St. John the Baptist Church in Renton. You can find the gridlock in the attachment with this message. Should open your guidance AR and take you right there. Meet is on for this Wednesday night. Good luck, chummer. Don't get dead."
Okay. So text forwards you all said message with the attachment, which automatically opens whatever your default GPS system in your comlinks is, and it gives you the location of a church in downtown Renton. So it's up to you guys what you want to do. The meet is in 4 hours from now.
How is the church towards meta-humans?
You guys would actually have to roll knowledge about religion, if none of you are particularly religious, because in this age of the world, you can pretty much know next to nothing about religion, or you can know a great deal. So it's actually a knowledge check, or you can just matrix search to see how it feels. It's up to you guys.
I asked Kix to do that then.
Yeah. Try to find their website or something.
Yep.
Get a feel for it.
I down on their website saying, "We hate elves and centaurs."
Weekly news bulletin.
www.religion.com.
So it's a computer plus intuition skill test.
Okay.
Or the Anti-Dandelion Eater Coalition. There you go.
I don't eat dandelion.
The Westboro Baptist Church take over the Catholic religion by any chance?
That's what happens.
Alright, so
unlikely.
you literally just look up Wikipedia, basically, or whatever the version of Wikipedia is in the new Matrix infrastructure, and it's fairly open. Things about religion are quite well recorded, and it's been noted that since the dawn of the Awakening, Christianity and all of its forms has mostly been against meta-humanity. especially the awakening of magical spirits and things like that, which in straight out of Christian essentially mythology is more or less the reincarnation of angels and demons. And for at least 2 or 3 decades, Christianity was at odds with the entirety of the world as it changed. But then one of the more progressive popes, I think it was Pope Paul, like the 22nd or something, decided that Christianity would need to change with the times, and there was basically a meeting of a large amount of bishops, and the Vatican essentially decreed that its view on meta-humanity was that they had souls and they were as redeemable or as corruptible as humans, and that spirits were basically the essence of God made manifest and things like that, though they weren't really trusted by Christianity. So even nowadays, it's not uncommon to find practitioners of magic to actually be members of the Catholic Church. Several magical orders even, in fact, have Christian tendencies and seem to follow the ideal of New Age crusaders and knights for justice and things like that. Christianity itself is a known tradition of magic, and its practitioners more view spirits sort of as an act in the will of God rather than like lost souls or angels or demons anymore. Though Christianity, as all religions, is very fractured and opinions about this differ wildly. But for the most part, Christianity is quite, it's integrated itself with society as it is now to a certain degree. Those who practice Christian theology, basically, to do magic, do have a sort of a noted disinterest or dislike of spirits, however, as there's still various old sort of stereotypes and cliches about spirits, and Christian magicians generally feel distasteful when they summon them or use them in any way or interact with them. So generally practitioners of it as well generally use their magic for healing and things like that, so they're generally regarded quite well, or at least as a low threat, by most of the other players in the world. In terms of the church you guys are going to, you just see that it is a Roman Catholic church. It's has a small and constant attendance. It's gone down a few in the last few decades since magic came back into the world, but for the most part, a lot of people still stick to religion like they always have. The predicted fall of religion with science sort of went the way of the dodo the second the awakening happened, and people sort of scrambled to find meaning in life. So religion has done surprisingly well in the new world, to say the least. So that's what you guys know about religion. So it mostly depends on the sect, but religion and Christianity in particular have merged kind of well into the new world, and Tex is going to the toilet apparently.
Yeah, we're watching him use the toilet.
At least he washed his hands. Alright, so what do you guys want to do?
First of all, I think I'm probably going to need to roll for my bipolar. I'm feeling a little bipolar right now.
Oh yeah, that thing again.
Yeah. Let's just roll d6.
Yes. I think that's manic, is it?
Oh
You're
god.
feeling good, right?
I think it's. I was just brought it up now. It's in Run Faster 152.
I think higher is better for you.
Yeah, well, the middle one is normal, the lower one is bad, and higher is like manic or whatever.
Actually, here 5 and 6 characters stable.
Okay.
Oh, it's actually stable? Okay, never mind.
Hooray! I'm stable.
Alright, so you're fine. Well, you have that
Well,
medication.
that's no fun, is it?
Yeah.
You have that medication. Did it run out though? I can't remember.
I haven't really been taking it.
Fair enough. Then.
Take your meds, man. Take the meds.
Okay, so you're stable, so no adverse effects. So yet again, what do you guys want to do? You all have a meet. Do you want to meet up somewhere beforehand, or do you just all want to make your way slowly to the church at the appointed time?
He arrives exactly on time, not a minute before, not a minute after.
I'll astrally project to the church.
Okay, so you get there in like less than a few seconds, and it looks like a very sort of typical North American church. It's not got the really Gothic or medieval architecture of Europe, but it's got more of the New Age building. But compared to how the world has changed now, it looks sort of out of place in comparison to the newer buildings, and even some of the older sort of rundown, shitholes of the sprawl, have different architecture, even though it's very much remained the same since its construction before the Awakening. You don't see any spirits or anything undue immediately outside that like jumps to mind, but you obviously have to do checks if you want to see anything, but nothing is obviously jumping out to you.
All a sense. What's the background count?
There's a background count of 1.
Okay. Boom.
Okay, so you can indeed. Well, actually, let me look up the sensing. What does that get you, in fact?
Everything.
Yeah, everything. But I just need to know the specifics of everything.
Everything.
It would be under magic on the quick sheet.
It's on page
Yes.
313.
Yeah, I'm just gonna open up a quick sheet thing and look it up. Where is the sensing table?
Page 8 of the quick sheet.
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, the general. Well, you're not looking at a subject, so.
No, just a sense in the area.
Okay. Okay, so there is an obvious aura around the church, and it is tool to a particular school of magic. You can tell that it is indeed tool towards Christian duology. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. You can tell that it is, well, it causes a background count of 3 to anyone who is not of that tradition, and it gives 3 to anyone who is, obviously. Let me see. Besides that, you don't sense any spirits or see any spirits. You can see a few signatures inside, and one of them is awakened. That's all you can tell.
Okay. I'll go back to my body.
Okay.
And start.
Alright. Everyone else just gonna make their way there?
Yeah, I think I'll probably get there a little bit beforehand and sit in my car, send the fly spies around the back in the vestry and stuff like that to have a look around.
Okay. So getting there, it's a perfectly normal church. You can spy a number of people inside. Most of them seem to be just general members of the church. Some of them seem to be, priests or nuns, things like that. People devoted to the church. Besides that, there's no particularly armed guards or anything like that, though you do note that at least a few of the people inside the building are definitely carrying weapons of some kind, or at least have weapons concealed in some places, and things like that.
Oh.
Which is not unusual, as you think it is, because Shadowrun is a dangerous world, so even priests need to protect themselves. Besides that, there's nothing out of the ordinary. There's no clear ambush or anything waiting for you, so...
Makes sense. I DNI that to anyone in the group that can hear me.
User was moved to your channel.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tex would have shown up about 3 hours early and made himself look like a homeless person, grown out a long beard, made my clothes look really raggy. I even changed my skin color so I look like I'm black. And I'll go at about 3 hours early looking like a black homeless person just trying to pray, and I'll just stay in there and pray until the meet time, and then basically seclude myself, make myself look normal, just so I can observe how they treat homeless people and shit.
Okay, well, should I make you do a check for that? Probably. So yes, go ahead and do a check then.
Disguise?
Yeah. Normal check as usual. Okay.
Boom.
Alright. So you want to head in or approach the church, yeah?
Yep, he'll head in a few hours early, just pretend like he's praying.
Okay. So you're welcomed in by what you presume is a deacon of some kind, or some sort of lesser member of the church, perhaps a priest in training, something like that. They welcome you in without fuss, and they just simply, bow and greet you as welcome, brother. All are welcome here, and they, let you in. There's, priests performing various confessionals. It seems, a fairly normal and functioning church if you've ever been in one before. I have no idea if Texas was religious or not. Deep South, it possibly was.
Yeah, he's been to church, probably more when he was a kid than as an adult.
Yep. So it seems like a regular church in all degrees. There's people lighting candles, saying prayers to various saints. The church is not like bustling, to say the least. There's maybe 10 people at any one moment in the main sort of hall, but besides that, there's nothing really out of the ordinary.
Well, yep, he'll just blend in, pray, and listen for anything strange for the next few hours.
Okay. So what else do you want to do?
Yeah,
I'm
Giant
making my way
basically
there.
just shows up on bang on time, or as close to as he can.
I'm in my car outside front, waiting for everyone else to be here.
Okay.
Kix is traveling on hoof.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of quite a walk, actually, I think, from where you live.
Yeah.
I know you guys.
She is a
you
horse,
guys
though.
No, they actually live in Renton, so it's not that far away. Alright.
I guess I'll walk there then with Kix.
Yep.
Still aiming to arrive exactly on time.
You could hop on. I thought you were going to ride your bike, but
Ah,
saddle up.
just stretch the legs.
I wait for the troll bus.
Troll bus, yeah. So does Firehead make his way there as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
No special details or anything. Okay.
No.
He burns several homeless people on the way.
Oh god.
So something interesting happens, Aaron. Close to about half an hour before the time, when you and the rest of the team were about to show up, one of the deacons of the church comes in and declares that the church, while normally open to all hours and all people of any creed, needs to close for a number of hours tonight in order for cleaning and other maintenance of the facility to take place. So he kindly asks all people currently praying, could they slowly shuffle out, and he blesses anyone that needs it, and they slowly all move to the door. Do you go with them, or do you make yourself known?
Yeah, so as everybody moves away from me, I'll slowly undisguise myself, and then if the guy comes up to me, I'll just say that I'm here for a meet.
Okay, so a brother, not a full-fledged priest, just someone who would best be described as a monk, approaches you and sort of bows and says, I'm sorry, my son, but the church is closing. You'll have to leave quite soon.
I got a meeting here, Chummer.
He looks you over for a moment and says, oh, yes, you must be one of the lost souls that Father Dederick has inquired about.
That's fairly accurate.
He sort of shrugs and says then, very well, feel free to continue. I must attend to the door, however, and he sort of walks off.
Thank you kindly.
Okay. So the rest of you show up, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's clear someone is looking out for you guys as you approach, as the doors are clearly open for you without any second guesses, as it seems they know the kind of people they're looking for. And they just sort of usher you in one by one and, indicate texts when you inquire about where to go to. So you all slowly shuffle in, I guess, yes?
Tex, you look different.
I always look different.
You look good with beard. You should not shave this thing.
Hey, you like it, huh?
Yes, it's very masculine.
Okay. So you guys all slowly shuffle in and sit down on the various pews or just wait until someone comes to call you. To say that you stand out in the middle of a church is an understatement, to say the least. You guys are not the kind of people anyone would expect to find in here, especially such a diverse group. Those of you with magic can sort of feel the weight of another tradition, sinking down on your shoulders, and you can't help but feel, is this the weight of God, sort of crashing down on top of you. Yeah, or you can treat it any way you want to. But,
It's actually just Kix sitting on your lap.
Kix!
Or
Can't fit in the pew.
Or like the Judeo-Christian imagery that doesn't conjure any memories for a giant or anything.
Nope, I have something different planned for you.
Oh god.
I'm very tempted to mind probe you.
Okay, so
That's weird.
first thing you do when you meet people is probe them, you weird fuck.
I haven't probed anybody. Shut up.
Yet.
I do the same with my droids.
Oh god. Alright.
That's not mind probing stuff.
Fine. After a few minutes of being left in silence or just talking amongst yourselves, another man who's not a deacon or anyone you see and is clearly not wearing anything that indicates a Catholic, sort of background of any kind, he just comes out and he looks over you and says, "Father Dederick will see you now. Please follow me to the reclusium." So do you want to follow him?
Yeah, Giant awkwardly makes the sign of the cross, like he's not quite sure if he's doing it right, and then follows where he says.
Okay. Alright, so you're led into the back of the chapel, which is much older in comparison to the what seems to have been renovated front. It's much more like the older Gothic architecture of churches you'd find in Europe and things like that. Many of the actual furniture in here isn't any sort of synthetic polymer or anything like it's actual wood. All of it quite old, some of it decrepit to a degree, but it's actual real wood, which is very rare to find.
How much does that sell for?
Quite a bit, but stealing entire chairs and massive tables could be a hard thing to do.
We're not stealing from the church.
Yeah. And there are actual books in here as well, not data slates, or, well, they're not data slates, you get the idea. Not any comm links or any, digital media of any kind. The books in here are actual real books.
Do you guys go read one?
Fire hazard.
Oh god, we've had the same library session all over again.
So I'll just leave your turns there. They're not actually here. I'll just presume if you want to bring the fly spies and let them out without him noticing, you can do that or something. But yeah, you get the idea.
They'll be around.
All right. So you're brought into a small sort of library full of theological texts, various editions of the Bible, in many different forms, not just Christianity, but Lutheran, Baptist, Presbyterian, various other religions, all for study, obviously. And the man just sort of bows and says, "Father Dederick, I have brought those who you sought." And then the priest just sort of looks up from his book, takes off his reading glasses, and just sort of nods and says, "That will be all, thank you." And the man bows again and just leaves slowly. Very slowly, Father Dederick, puts his hand in his lap and looks around and says, "Please take a seat at the bench if you feel the need."
Giant will stand, safer for bench this way.
Mm-hmm.
I take a seat.
Yeah, I take a seat as well.
Alright, so he looks you over for a moment and he turns to Tex and says, "You must be the one Vincent claims was the one known as Tex, yes?"
Yep, that's me.
He nods and says, "Thank you for hearing my pleas, brother. This is
we're happy to be here.
Yeah, this is a grave matter which the church needs some help with. How familiar are you with history? Are any of you indeed students of history?"
Not really.
Giant is deeply knowledgeable.
Is John a professor on history in his spare time?
Okay.
He's got tenure.
He takes your silence.
Yesterday I punched men.
He takes your silence as an indication that you are not great on history. And he says, "Well, perhaps you have heard of the Great Ghost Dance, a rather turbulent time in the history of this continent. A time when the Amerindians of the old USA rose up against the oppression of their ancestors and themselves and forged the nations and the world as we see it today. A great many died, unfortunately, in these circumstances, but history goes the way it does, and we simply have to deal. Unfortunately, some of the lesser-known details about that great event are not widely known outside of various organizations. The Catholic Church is one of them, indeed. As the Amerindians strove for their freedom and the beginning of their own nations, a great many innocents suffered and died in that path, not only among themselves, but among innocent, normal practitioners of the Catholic Church as well. Though, history and propaganda would have you believe that they did it simply for liberty and freedom and that they tried to prevent as few deaths as possible, it must be said that that is quite far from the truth. one of the lesser-known tenets of the Treaty of Denver after that miserable history of North America was that much of the bloodshed and, well, I'll simply say it, the genocide which occurred during the time was covered up by both sides in a rather shameful display. I will not say that the USA did not kill a great many Indians. In fact, the president at the time signed an executive order to simply wipe out a great many tribes. However, the Indians, awakened and bristling with magical power that the world did not yet understand, did quite the same in return. And one of the greatest sufferers of this was those of the Catholic faith, unfortunately. Many of them long believed in the traditions of shamanism and their ancestors, and many rejected the teachings of a one true God or a Catholic faith. Though I do not begrudge them of their beliefs, and true, it must be said that in this new world and the great many strange things that have occurred since the time of the Awakening, that many things people believed to be infallible could no longer be said to be true. It goes without question that much of the bloodshed on their side was just as rampant, if not worse, than those committed by the United States at the time. And it still continues to this day. A great many citizens who chose to stay or refused to leave the newly founded council lands or the tribe lands, and were thus forcefully integrated into the societies of these newly formed nation tribes, continue to suffer to this day under prejudices against them, especially if they happen to be Anglican or Anglo in any way. And this is why I have called you here today. North of the border, in a rather small town known as Meridian, several practitioners of the Catholic faith are suffering great prejudice and physical violence by members of the Cascading Crow tribe, which now inhabit and rule that area. They have, well, it is very much needed by me and the other members of my church that these, martyrs of our faith are extracted and brought to Seattle as quickly as possible.
What's the pay?
Well, he says, I'm not quite familiar with how pay works in your world, but I would be willing to pay quite handsomely, I assure you, for the retrieval of these nascent brothers and sisters. I believe if my network and my information provided by my aides is correct, that a job of this caliber would be somewhere in the region of perhaps 10,000 yuan each.
How many people are we talking about?
And with your word, he takes out an actual scrap piece of paper, like written on actual real paper, and hands it to you, and says, I believe there is 48 in total.
40 fucking 8.
Yes, indeed. They are a
Martial
rather
language,
diverse
Amber.
group.
We're in a church, remember?
Yes, the priest sort of frowned a bit when he said that.
I roll my eyes.
That's 1,500 per head.
No, it's 10,000 a piece.
Yeah.
Oh, a piece.
So 1,500 per person with smuggling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's standard rate or not, so...
My math, it's about 200 a piece, right? 10,000, 48 people.
70,000, because there's 7
70,000 divided by
48, yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's 200 for each of us per person.
Oh, yeah.
All this math, it hurts. Giant head, please stop.
Don't worry, Giant. Don't think about it. Go read a book, I guess.
So Father Dederick shakes his head and yes. So I'm sorry for the difficulty of this, but there are a great many suffering that need to be returned to the hand of the church, and while they remain where they are, they will not find the liberty they seek.
So do you have like maybe a church van or something we could put all these people in? Because we don't exactly have transportation for 50 people readily available.
He shakes his head and says, no, unfortunately, I had endeavored to attempt to gather such a vehicle for you, but all of my inquiries through public channels unfortunately failed as the UCS and government intervened and was unwilling to allow such a diplomatic incident, as they called it, to occur. And I have no such deep contacts within the shadows, unfortunately.
I really want to make a joke about the Catholic Church and ready access to school buses, but
Yes.
I'm gonna hold that one down.
Feel free.
Don't.
I ask I guess you want these people to be legal citizens, maybe, or of Seattle.
Well, you see, under UCS law, if such immigrants were to arrive within the city and seek sanctuary within a religious institution such as this, the UCS would be, by law, obligated to give them temporary citizenry status, and the church would be able to look after them.
Okay.
Now,
They
does that
must-
apply at the border, or did we have to first get them into the UCAS?
You must simply get them over the border into the UCAS. Returning them to Seattle would be sufficient.
So we're still technically going to be sneaking sinless across the border.
Seems
That
like it.
would be the truth, yes.
And we have to provide our own transportation for these 50 people across a military checkpoint border. Now, we can make this happen, but I don't know if 10,000 is the right price. And can I roll negotiation?
Yep, go for it. And you actually get a +4 to this because he's very sympathetic to helping these people, so...
Awesome.
Do I have?
He's a blood mage, and their
Can I
sacrifice is
assist?
calling it.
Yeah, you can assist, yeah.
Do I roll with the bonus?
Well, seeing as how you're quite dismissive of religion and shit in general, from what I've gathered, probably not. Because he's
Okay.
like...
Yeah.
You've already sweared at him.
I don't give a shit. One dice.
Nice.
Okay, so he shakes his head and says, "I'm sorry, my son. I do feel your plight, and I wish I could provide more for people willing to, put themselves in jeopardy for the benefit of others, but we simply cannot afford to pay any more than we've given."
Yeah, I can understand that.
You can post-edge it and then come up with another convincing argument if you want to.
But surely you've got, some savings that you can dip into.
For a rainy day, let's say.
Oh my god.
But those many ones, man.
Is that a glitch?
It's not, because I think I have 35 dice.
Yeah,
total.
correct.
It's only 6 hits out of 35 dice.
Alright, so this time he slowly nods his head and says, "Perhaps I could be willing to dip into some of the maintenance funds of the church to, waylay your expenses somewhat. I could add perhaps another 100 onto your specified price."
Yeah, that'll help cover the cost of the transportation we're going to have to acquire.
He nods and says, "I thank you all greatly for willing to do this task for the church. You will not be forgotten, believe me. Our prayers shall go with you, as well as this comlink." And then he hands you a comlink detail.
My eyes roll twice as hard.
Thank you, Father.
Should you ever encounter any difficulties along the way, please do not hesitate to inquire or ask me for additional information. I will do anything and all I can help to help you with your task.
I may just take you up on that.
As Murdoch's feeling pretty good, and he's not religious either way, but he thinks we could do with it, I ask, Father, would you bless us upon this mission?
So he nods and says,
I quickly walk out.
"Of course, my
Yeah,
son."
me too.
So anyone who wants to be blessed, he just blesses you with
Fuck this
the
shit.
sign of the cross and things like that.
I just...
Again, Giant awkwardly makes the sign of the cross, doing it completely wrong.
Kix will take it though.
Yeah, Tex as well.
I just...
I asked the father what's a good read in here.
Just frag this.
He says, "Why, my son, the Bible is the best of reads, and I myself prefer Deuteronomy. Please feel free to look at it.
I go find it if it's in here.
It's an actual part of the Bible. It's one of the books."
Oh, okay. I no idea. So
Did he give a
Do you?
meddling
Oh,
corn?
sorry.
He gave you a link to his comlink, yeah.
Did he give me a comlink or just a number?
Oh no, just an actual number, yeah.
Oh, okay. Can I add him as a contact, or?
Yes, you can add him as a contact. Right now, he's only loyalty 1 with you, but he has connection 5, actually, so...
I ask him if I can borrow a copy of the Bible for reading at home.
He says, unfortunately, this Bible is a private collection, and it must not leave the grounds of the church. The books are quite rare in their current state.
It's on the Matrix, though, if you want to read it.
I prefer physical reading to that on.
You can try
Internet.
steal one if
Yeah.
you want to.
What would that be? Like what role?
Is it like sleight of hand, or what's it called for this? There's an actual specific one.
Palming.
Palming, yeah, palming, that's it.
I do not have that.
You can make a
You can default your
one.
agility.
Yeah.
But Tex is gonna try to spot this.
Yeah.
Sure. Agility
Minus
-1,
one.
right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Tex beats you, then he can see you, so...
Oh, you're right. Oh, is that... No, that's his old role.
Yep, Tex beats you, he sees you.
You get a DNI that says put it back. We're not stealing from the church, remember?
I put it back.
I'm now observing him in detail.
Alright, so... anything else anyone wants to ask Father Dederick, or do you want to go outside and discuss how this is going to go down?
Father, do you have any of those small round breads? I had one long time ago. Very delicious.
He says, yes, my son, but that can only be blessed and sacramented during the Mass. You'll have to attend someday.
Giant looks very sad.
He says, perhaps, seeing as how you were doing such a gracious thing for humanity, my rather large son, you will take this as a token of sentiment, and he hands you a cross with some rosary beads on it.
Yeah, Giant puts it around his neck and looks very pleased with himself.
Nice.
I guess I ask a bit of detail on how far inland is the the settlement, I guess.
Okay, so I've actually done this on Google Maps and checked it myself. The place you're going to is north of a place called Bellingham, I think it's called. Yeah, it's in a small little town called Meridian, and the place that he gave you on the contact details, now that you guys have double checked it after the meeting, is an actual graveyard. So the place you're picking up these people from is a graveyard, and it's called the 10-mile graveyard.
Are we grave robbing?
No. Maybe, who knows? So it's in it's in a place called the 10-mile graveyard. It's just outside of a small little rinky-dink town called Meridian. It's deep in the middle of a particular part of the Sedea Council land belonging to a tribe called the Cascading Crows. You don't know anything about them. You could attempt to just find information if you wanted to. But from what Father Dederick told you, if people are being racially prejudiced against them here, then it's likely that these council people do not like white folk. So that's all you need to know, really.
How is it saying, say if we were to move a body back to his family from inside there, would we be able to just say, hey, this guy died here, we're taking him back to CL so he can be buried? They're not gonna check if he's dead and shit, are they? Or they're not gonna pry open the coffin. Be like, oh,
that's
yeah,
a possibility. You could. Well, you don't know. You'll have to look into all this.
Yeah, they probably
checks.
want papers and stuff though, like morgue release forms and all that shit.
We could forge that though.
Totally,
yeah, true.
Totally.
My other idea was build a tunnel.
So from where you are exactly right now, according to Google Maps, it is a 4.5-hour drive. Going at a normal pace, compensating for traffic and everything else. It's 120 miles away, if I remember correctly. And if you were to take the bus or public transport to it, apparently it will take you 8 hours. But if you were just to drive there, it's 4. So that's according to Google Maps anyway. So it is just north of Everett past Bellingham, which is just the capital of council land. So,
Did we? By any chance, is there a 55-seater vehicle in Shadowrun?
no, but there's buses and things like that.
Can we rent a bus?
I'm sure we can rent a bus.
You can rent a
I'll
bus.
more than happily drive it.
How much would a bus cost?
Well, we need like a lorry with 55 people,
Probably.
because that's a lot of people to put on a bus.
Well, I don't know. You could fit 50 people on a bus, but I don't know about trolls and giants and centaurs.
I still like my idea of coffins. Just like get a lorry, fill it up with coffins, put each one in there,
Wow.
and then
We've come to dig a mass grave.
yeah.
What the fuck?
All of these people are being delivered back to their families in Seattle. You know,
Yeah,
like,
if that would be an official thing, probably through governmental channels, and they'd have like a ton of paperwork. So there's no way they're just gonna allow 55 coffins or whatever the fuck to like waddle their way into Seattle.
It'll probably make the news, to be honest.
Yeah.
How long is the border? Like, if you know what I mean.
Thousands of miles?
All right.
Yeah,
Is
thousands of miles.
Is every little bit of it like a fenced and that?
It is a normal border, so the great many of them are patrolled. Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, we know with the world right now, people do get over borders.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, like the most straight route there is just to take the Interstate 5 straight up to, well, approaching Vancouver, get off at Bellingham, and then take, I think the road is like the 539 up to Meridian. Like, that's just straight there, but if you guys want to do a big roundabout thing, that's like totally possible. That would be the obvious route, but it's also be the most checked route, so...
Does everybody have a SIN? Tex asks.
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
Dan recently updated his.
I do too.
Dan does not think getting out will be problem. It will be getting back in with many people.
Yes, I agree. I think that coffin idea is not bad. But, like you mentioned, they're probably going to be too hard to get, like, verification. We probably do need to sneak them across. I don't know if they're probably not actually going to let them in the border unless they have sins, and they won't.
What if we were like a traveling group of entertainers? Something like a circus?
I think more like freak show is word.
And
There's
Then
probably-
will be our main attraction.
Would a circus have 55 people? And
Yeah.
you don't really have the equipment.
And they all stack up on one another, you know? Like a human pyramid kind of
These
thing.
ideas are all kinds of funny.
It's all painted
I mean-
like clowns.
There's
We're gonna have
probably
some
multiple-
rehearsing to do.
There's probably like multiple border crossings. We could take groups over different border crossings. Maybe it would split our risk, but it would also mean we'd split the party. Nobody likes splitting the party.
I was
Warren.
thinking we might be able to drive them to a point where they can cross on foot. Then we take the vehicle across with everybody that has a good sin, and then meet them at another point and pick them up. Get
That's
through
an
that
idea,
way.
yes.
This could work. Does anybody know person that is used to doing these kind of things? People smuggle.
Ah, you mean a coyote?
Yes, this is word.
Could I just like call up my contact, who's a smuggler, and
Yes, you can.
and just ask him if he's
Hey,
ever done.
how loyal is that smuggler that you know?
Not very loyal, no.
Yeah, I don't
Not
know if
knowing
you should.
so much.
I mean, if he's not really like, if you don't
Is this
know him very
finance
well,
voice?
Yeah.
if you don't know him very well, I don't know if we want to slip all of our plans to him. Be real careful about what you say.
Okay. And he just looks down.
Maybe just
Disappointed.
ask about the border or
Yeah, just don't be too specific.
Yeah,
about anything that we're doing.
So I just call him up and just ask him if he's ever done any work around that area.
What's his, let me see his, stats.
Loyalty 1, connections 2.
Okay, so, give me a second, I'll roll something for him. Okay, you're unlucky, you actually rolled pretty well. Yeah, he has in fact heard of people who've done some work heading up that way, but he's never done it himself because it's not particularly profitable. But from time to time, he has heard of people hitting some pretty big jackpots. They call there's a pretty well-known name for the smuggling route up from Seattle to Vancouver. It's called the Long Weekend. Is literally the name of the smuggling route because it takes one long weekend to get up there and then bring whatever back again. It's generally a fairly easy run. He gives you a rundown of some of the better, like easier checkpoints that are like less detailed to get across, if you know what I mean. He tells you to avoid Interstate 5 once you get out of Everett because it's heavily guarded and heavily checked. The best way to go is just to take an off route through, Redmond and head way around, if you know what I mean. It'll add maybe like a day onto your trip, which is like a lot considering it's only like a 4-hour car drive away. But you're basically going down and around Seattle, if you know what I mean, and avoiding all the major checkpoints. But you will pass through one or two minor ones, through like back roads and things like that. But the guards there are generally like fairly lazy. They don't really check things very detailed. The only thing you really have to worry about is the all the border crossings into council territory, regardless if they're on a road somewhere, are checked by computers and hosts. So the guards themselves probably aren't going to give a damn. Probably aren't going to do much other than just like check your faces and things like that. But the computer themselves, it does run back to a database, checks things. So you need semi-competent sins to get through it, but other than that, there should be no difficulty, he says. And they tend to not mind humans or whatever, or metahumans of any kind, like even the weird ones going over the border. So.
Okay, so I
like
relay this information.
Sounds promising. We should definitely take long route.
Good work, Firehead.
Yeah, going the safe route seems to be the best option for us.
A lot about 16 hours to your trip, though. So.
Especially if we are to move that many people.
When did he say he needed them back by, Warren?
Oh, he doesn't matter when they get back, as long as they get back. So.
Are they all human?
Well, you have a list, and it's rather detailed, so you can read through the list if you guys want to. It's on actual paper. Alright, so many of the names are, most of them are, Anglo-Saxon, Germanic, some Irish, some Scottish, what you would imagine like most white people are. There's various Asian names, there's various, particularly black people-oriented names, basically everyone that isn't Native American is in some way on the list, in a sense, because the Native American states are actually quite racist, funny enough. And some of them are listed as trolls, some of them are listed as orcs, some of them are humans, some of them are dwarves, so it seems like a very diverse group. So
yeah. Well, if we're gonna need to rent a vehicle, I say that we should at least get one, like split the troll and the metahumans, so all the trolls going one way and all the humans. Might be harder to do a border crossing that way, but at least we'll cheaper on the second vehicle, if you get what I mean.
If the Redmond checkpoint doesn't care about metatype, they shouldn't. I don't think we should separate them because of that.
If you exit through Redmond, it's the least protected exit point out of Seattle into the council lands. They almost don't care about it. Let's put it that way.
Warren, I have a contact who works at like a junkyard. Do you reckon he has any he's only loyalty 1 and connection 1, but like he might have some ideas about where to get a vehicle?
You guys could literally just rent a vehicle fairly easy. Most places don't require an actual SIN. Well, the black market ones don't require SIN. Like official places will require a SIN, but you need a very low rating SIN to get one. Like a 1 or a 2 would work very easily because they don't double check anything really. So you guys could get a bus. Renting a bus itself. Was there specific rules for it, or was it just the homemade rule by per seat? I think it was. Like, did they release official rules? Because I haven't checked it more.
Not it might be in Run Faster, but I don't think so.
Okay, well, I'm just going to do it by seat then. Because there was a thing I read by seat, and it was pretty good. Give me a second, I'll calculate it.
One thing, though, we shouldn't get one that requires a SIN. We should go the black market route, because RFID tags are, like, ridiculously cheap in Shadowrun. And if it's tagged, it can follow us on GPS.
So we're going with a bus or we're going with a truck? If it's by seat, then bus is going to be more expensive.
You can rent a bus for a weekend for 1,650 yuan. legally, or you can get a black market one for 1,200. But the black market one is more sketchy.
Well,
That's 172 new and eat the black market.
Yeah, let's get that one then.
Will that fit, or will we need those? And are they troll adaptable? Like controls down there?
Most like vehicles are just presumed to be troll like accessible and shit like that. You generally normally pay double if you buy them, but yeah, you get the idea. What? Sorry?
How much did that cost each?
Well, it's 1,200, so divided by 7.
Yeah, 172 each.
That's an illegal black market one though, without any official papers or something. So.
How many can that seat?
That can seat 80 people.
Okay, cool.
It's a pretty big bus. Yeah. It's one of those double-decker buses. You know. With
what does it take to get across the border? Do we have to show like registration and shit for the car?
Well, I'll just presume you got it from the smugglers because I explained it to you guys a bit earlier. To get across the border, it depends where you go, but you guys are going for one of the lower oriented checkpoint things. So mostly what will happen is you'll approach it. The host will send a request to any active wireless device that it detects approaching it that isn't flagged as being on a list to like automatically ignore or pass through or whatever. It will request that it can gain a tag on your device, and then once you acquiesce to said request, it will just simply send information to your comlink looking for SIN and any licenses attached to the SIN. It will query these things to make sure they're true and correct, and then it will send a copy of your passing through to a home database that will yet again check it at some other point. And if they see discrepancies, depends upon how many discrepancies it detects, whether or not it will warn the officers to detain you or stop you and things like that.
Could I just not bring my comlink?
As for like license plates, yeah, you'll need like license plates and things like that. The illegal one is obviously just going to have whatever they could slap on it basically, because it's being jacked. So yeah.
Are we sure we want a black market bus?
You don't have to run anything. You can run like all of your stuff silently except your comlink, so that's perfectly okay because it only pings things that are running active. Okay, because it only sees devices that are running actively. But if you don't, you're warned long before you get the checkpoints. Turn on your comlink, have your SIN attached and ready. If you know what I mean. It's kind of like the passport.
Would it be odd if I didn't bring my comlink? If I just left it at home? Yeah.
Well, they will scan the bus for number of people inside it. And if it sees a discrepancy, 54 out of 55 people have given a SIN, they won't let it pass till that person has given their SIN.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah, I'm thinking we should probably get the legit bus.
How much more was it for the legit bus each?
Not much more.
Yeah, not much more.
Yeah, Warren, what was the price?
The legit bus was, I think it was 1,650. Yeah, that's it. For a weekend.
So 235 each.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Okay, I can't afford anything else.
You guys are making me poor. I've only got 10k.
Fuck you. I have 400 new yen.
Screw you.
Save it up, man.
Wait, do you have a SIN though?
Yeah, I've got a SIN rating for it. Right. Yeah.
Street Samurai, good old luck.
Yep, so we get the official bus. We'll start loading up our shit. And we'll head for the Redmond border, unless someone else has something they want to do.
Does the legit bus have a rigger interface thing?
You can pay 100 extra for a rigger interface.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah,
so we can jump in.
That money. I can't.
So that's another 20. Oh, so divided by 6, what is that? 15 yen each?
7. There are 7 of us.
Yeah, but
one of us
Murdoch's
can't pay.
out of money.
So everybody pays 16 yen.
Yeah, well, she could pay 100 out of his 10,000 yen.
Yeah.
No, man, no.
The elf can pay. Hey, screw you! You got us into a fight the other time. A fight
We
none
also
of us
saw a
wanted.
fight once.
She just
Yeah,
go down
that's
the
true.
street, use your pretty face, make some money.
Well, I'll go whoring myself out for a weekend. How much do I earn?
Well, if you go now, you learn a lot less than if you do this run, I suppose. Now the awkward moment of trying to find a bus token in Roll20.
Can we just use have a Land Rider token?
Yes. Yes.
This is literally the only bus token I can find.
Use another token of Giant. We'll just say everyone rides Giant. It's fine.
I guess considering Shadowrun's taste in vehicles and things, this is not far gone from what it would probably
Yeah, it
look
looks
like.
about right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can we decorate
totally
it?
riding here. Mm.
The Twinkie.
Yes, let's spray the Twinkie on that side. Completely fuck it over.
Should I try?
Being all professional today, I pre-printed out a vehicle table threshold for driving and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Much prepared.
Printer's absolute crap. I could not do that.
Okay, so anything else you guys want to prepare for before you go? Or try to gain information of it?
Well,
Nope.
Kix was just kind of curious about how Father Dederick knows about the goings on of these specific people and what details he knows.
Internet.
Yeah.
He just he says they reached out to him and they sought his help and he couldn't ignore the cries of the faithful, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Boring.
I'd like to roll gang knowledge skills about those crow people.
The Cascade Crows aren't a gang, they're an actual tribe.
Same thing, right, Tex?
You could,
I figured, I'm assuming they had gangs like everywhere else.
yeah, they have gangs, but their gangs are a little different and unorthodox to the gangs you think now. The gangs in council lands, are sanctioned gangs because they're considered castes of the tribes, like the warrior caste and things like that. So even though they're dicks and they go around raiding people, it's considered part of life in the tribal lands. It's really weird.
Could I roll gang knowledge skill to learn about them?
You can roll. Yeah, you can roll. Sure, why not? So is Murdoch driving the party bus?
Of course.
Wait, how good are you at driving, Murdoch?
He's AFK at the moment.
Yeah, how?
He's pretty good. I saw his
He's probably our best driver.
He's the best one here.
Okay. Alright, because I've got 7 in driving, because I just realised it's probably good to get that.
He has more.
Alright.
He's a rigger, and vehicles are what riggers do.
Yeah.
Okay, so with your successes, you know barely little what you've heard of word of mouth. That the Cascade Crows own basically all of the lands northeast of Seattle to the Cascade Mountain Ranges. They are the most anti-Anglo of all the tribes that make up the Salish Council, and they're well known for committing various hate crimes against those that were basically stuck there for the last few decades after the Treaty of Denver. They've been reprimanded a few times by the other councils, but because basically the way it works is all the tribal lands are essentially like minor states and kind of like the USA that make their own state rules and their own government and just have members on the council. They can't really do anything about it. They're considered mostly to be harmless by the other councils, so they kind of let them be because no one really cares about a bunch of Anglos or whatever else to get mistreated and things like that. It's widely considered that people outside of Native American heritage and things like that, especially Asians and whites, should avoid their land as much as possible because there's been a lot of racial tension and things like that. That's basically all you can learn about them. You don't really know anything else. It's mostly what you could find on Wikipedia, more or less.
They're gonna love me. I'm like 3 white people in one person.
Yeah.
What?
Like in size, like if you put. Never mind.
Yeah,
That's some giant logic right there.
Yeah, seriously.
Six white midgets standing on top of each other.
I'm extra white because I'm extra big. That's okay.
There's more white skin, so technically correct. The best kind of correct.
In technicality, yes. He's more white.
Hey, I'm channeling the character here, forgive me.
I'm thinking I should disguise everybody so we don't look so white.
Oh god. I feel a hate crime coming on.
That's not a bad idea.
He just gets some red paint and
Feathers.
Quick, kill a bird and grab its feather.
Yeah, what's the Native American equivalent of blackface? Let's do that.
red face.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's all go.